Good morning, boys and girls. Today we are working on Lesson 7 from Book 4 of Saxon Math. And today's lesson is writing numbers through 999. Boys and girls, this is basically the spelling lesson of the math world. Today you are going to be spelling out numbers quite a bit. In your book, on page 40, there is a chart that will help you with the spelling. It lists a variety of different numbers and then shows you how to spell those different numbers. It would be a great idea for you to have your book open to that page while we're going over this so that you can see how to spell it as well. And that page is definitely a great reference for you as you're doing your homework throughout today and in the future when you need to spell words, number words that you don't know, okay? So we're going to start with our first example here, 44. The directions say, write this number using words. So we write it exactly how we say it. We write 40, and I spelled that wrong. Look at me. I wrote it as if I were writing the number 4, and 40 isn't written like that. 40 is just F-O-R-T-Y. 40. And then we write 4. Okay? So this lesson even gets me sometimes. I often throw an and when I'm reading numbers. I would say 313, and that's not correct. We say 313, no and. So when we write it, there is no and. We just write 313. And that is how we should say it as well. Same thing here, 705. No and. We just write or say 705. Write it with words. Okay? All right, over here they've written 608 with words, and they want us to write it with digits. So, 608. Don't forget the 0 there, because they didn't tell us about any tens. Wasn't 618, wasn't 638, just 608. For this one, do you recognize this picture? They're not blue. Oftentimes they're blue. These are base 10 blocks. So remember, the flat, the big square, that's 100. This stick, that's 10. And then these little itty-bitty squares are 1. So we're supposed to take this picture and write it, I believe, in digits. No, actually it says in words in our book. So take this picture and write the number in words. So how many hundreds do we have? 2. So we're going to say 2, and the number 2 is T-W-O, 200. How many tens do we have? 1. So if we were to say this, would we say 210-6? 6 for the ones? No, that's not how we say that number. We would say 16, 216. So that's what we're going to write, 216. And we're done with that one. Okay? The next type of problem, we've done a couple of these before. Which is greater, 546 or 564? Well, the book suggests that you write one right on top of the other so that you can compare those place values. So look here at my hundreds. They're the same, they don't help me. My tens, 4 and 6, which one is greater? 6. So that tells me 564 is the greater number. All right, these last 4 numbers we're supposed to put in order from greatest to least. So looking at them over here, I don't want to block your view, we have 36 254, 105, and 90. What's the greatest? Could it possibly be the 90? 9's pretty big. But Mrs. Duarte, the 9's in the tens place. And we have some hundreds here. So we're not even going to look at these two. We're going to look at our numbers that have 3 digits, because they will always be bigger than a 2-digit number. So look at my hundreds place, 2 and 1. Which is greater? The 2. So this right here, 254, will be our largest number. And we know that this one's going to be larger than both of our 2-digit numbers. So 105 comes next. All right, so now we can look at the 2-digit numbers, 36 and 90. We want to compare tens place, 3 or 6. I'm sorry, not 3 or 6, 3 or 9. 9, definitely. So 90 will be our next largest number, and that leaves us with just 36. So now these numbers are listed in order from greatest to least. All right. Today's lesson has quite a few lesson practices, because even though these skills are very similar, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of different ways they could word problems using these same skills. So I would like you to do the lesson practice on your own. It is on page 42. Finish it and then have your homeschool teacher, whoever's with you today, check it for you. And when you've got those correct, then you can move on to the written practice, which is also starting on page 42. I hope you had a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon.